October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and that's what we're talking about for this week's Maryland Peace of Mind segment. Calls about intimate partner violence have really skyrocketed during the pandemic, and Amanda Rodriguez knows that all too well. She is the executive director of Turnaround. Amanda, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
For those who aren't familiar, can you explain what Turnaround is?
Sure. So Turnaround is a comprehensive domestic violence service provider and the Rape Crisis Center for Baltimore County and City.
So over the course of the pandemic, we've heard this from police departments all over the state. The calls are astronomical.
Yeah, we've seen that at Turnaround too. At the beginning of the pandemic, we were seeing numbers as high as 300% higher than what we would normally see in terms of those suffering from domestic violence that were reaching out seeking support. It's averaging out at about this point somewhere between 50% higher than we would see in a normal non-pandemic year. So those numbers have not really dropped. We're just seeing that we're sustaining the numbers that we saw at the beginning of the pandemic.
And you know, if someone is finally reaching out for help, it has reached that level, but there are so many more that aren't yet ready to make that call.
Yeah, unfortunately, we want to make sure that people know that there is help available. And we saw at the beginning of the pandemic that folks did not have regular access to ways to reach out for support. We had one survivor who actually saw some of our social media posts and was reaching out that way through Facebook Messenger, just trying desperately to get out the situation that they were in. But we want to make sure that over the next several months that we're spreading the word as far and as wide as we can, that there is support for people that need it, because unfortunately it does usually have to reach a boiling point before somebody gets out of a domestic violence situation if they don't know that there's regular help that's available for them.
So what is the help that's available?
So in Metro Baltimore, Turnaround is one of the resources. We have a 24/7 hotline that's manned by staff. And so we have emergency shelter services. We can provide education courses, employment courses, therapy, case management, advocacy, and legal support. So that's available to anyone that reaches out via either our text line or our helpline. And most of the jurisdictions in Maryland have a similar makeup where they have at least one comprehensive domestic violence provider that will provide at least some of this breadth of service. So there is community support if you need it, if you're suffering from domestic violence.
Now, is this immediate support? Will someone come and help you leave the home if that's what you need help with? Or do you have to make your way out of the home, and then once you are, you're sort of embraced by all of these services?
So there's a couple of different ways that an individual who is experiencing domestic violence can seek out that kind of support. So if there's immediate, imminent danger, 911 may be your best resource because they're going to have that immediate support that can come to your house and literally, extricate you from that situation. If you call our 24/7 helpline, what's going to happen is you're going to be connected with someone that can get you into a shelter service, and we can actually help you leave your home and get you to that safe place to lay your head for the night. And then we can figure out what the plan is from there. So we don't physically go to your house, but we can get you out of it, and we will walk with you every step of the way to make sure that you know that you have that support.
Can you talk about some of the emotional issues that someone has after they have been physically or emotionally abused?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've seen a couple of different things through the pandemic, and it is not that surprising in terms of what we know in terms of domestic violence. So an individual that is in an abusive relationship may suffer from something called trauma bonding. That's essentially when you create an unhealthy bond with someone who is an abusive partner, and you want to start humanizing them and normalizing the behavior that they're doing. You start taking on some of the responsibility for yourself. Like, oh, if I'd only done this, if I'd only cleaned the house better, if I'd only not, triggered them into this, angry state, then I would be okay. And so that is something that happens during that abusive relationship. And it's very hard to break those bonds, which is the reason that we see individuals going back into abusive relationships quite a bit. So we need to make sure that we're supporting them through that. The other is anxiety, depression, and triggers that are very real. So it can be any one of the five senses that causes a trigger, anything from, smell. Maybe it's something that was in the home that you would smell when the abusive partner came home that you knew that they'd been drinking, for example. So the smell of alcohol could trigger something. We've had survivors that are on a bus and they'll hear something and they'll become triggered. And that can even cause something as dramatic as a dissociation. So you don't even know where you are and you kind of are reliving a traumatic incident. Some individuals can't sleep because they're having constant night terrors where they're reliving those traumatic incidents. It's very similar to and often either mimics or is in fact PTSD. So it's those types of emotional and mental health reactions that we're seeing pretty common in domestic violence situations.
And as awful as it is for someone experiencing this, it can be awful in a different way for a family member watching them go through this and not able to help them. So what would your advice be to maybe a family member of someone who's going through this?
Yeah, I love when people ask that question because I think your first reaction is usually like, I want to get you out of this situation. I want to get you to safety as quickly as and immediately as I can because I care about you. But often with domestic violence situations, an individual is not ready for that step. And the person that's experiencing that relationship is going to know their safety and know their experience much more so than a family member that's maybe on the outside of that relationship. So a lot of it is about providing resources and information. So it's about talking them through facts. Did you know that, if this happens or that happens, it's more likely that you could really die as a result of this domestic violence situation? Did you know that there is help in the community and here's some resources, and I'm happy to help you call if you want to have that resource available to you. I would also spend a lot of time safety planning. If this were to happen or that were to happen, do you know where you can go? Do you know where a go bag is? Where are your children's documents? The things that you want to make sure are ready so that if you get out, there's no reason for you to come back. So I think it's a lot more about being the support, because the second that you become the wedge in between the relationship when an individual is not ready to leave, the further you're going to push them into isolation, which is exactly what you don't want to do in a domestic violence situation.
Yeah, absolutely. No matter how much you love that person, you need to be there when they're finally ready for some help. If someone's interested in more information on Turnaround, what should they do?
So there's a couple of options. One is if you needed help, you can call our 24/7 hotline, which is 443-279-0379. You can also text us at 410-498-5956. If you want more information about the agency itself, you can reach out either on social media. We have Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram.
Sure.
Or you can visit our website at turnaroundinc.org.
Oh, wonderful information this morning. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. And Turnaround does have a 24/7 domestic violence hotline for the Baltimore metro area. That number right there on your screen, 443-279-0379. We have this number and a list of statewide resources on our website, WBALTV.com. All you need to do is click on Maryland Peace of Mind. And of course, if you are in immediate danger or fear for your safety, please call 911.